the March meeting of the business meeting of the Lumbee Tribal Council to order. At this time, I'd ask the secretary to do a roll call. Oh, sorry, the order's messed up. At this time, Mr. Homer, if you give us the invocation. Let us rise.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, as we come to you this evening, we thank you again, Lord, for this day. We thank you for the blessings you've given us. We thank you, Father, for each and every one that's come out tonight. Father, we ask you, Lord, as we conduct this business tonight, that we just thank you and think of you, Lord, and think of you most of all, and then think of our people, Lord. And Father, we ask you, Lord, to just help us to make the right decisions and do the things that we need to do to support our people. And if you do these things, we'll be so careful to give you the praise. It's in the word, in the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, I do pray. Amen.
Amen. At this time, I'll ask Miss Kathy to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, we'll read the preamble. In accordance with the inherent power of self-governance of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the tribe adopts this Constitution for the purposes of establishing a tribal government structure, preserving for all time the Lumbee way of life and community, promoting the agricultural, cultural, social, and economic well-being of Lumbee people, and securing justice and freedom for Lumbee people. At this time, we'll do the roll call.
Yes, sir. Mr. Billy Oxendine. Mr. Graylin Mitchell.
Here.
Mr. Gerald Goolsby.
Here.
Miss Pam Hunt.
Here.
Mr. Harold Smith.
Here.
Mr. Jody Bullard.
Here.
Mr. Carrington Locklear.
Here.
Mr. Larry Chavis.
Here.
Miss Yvonne Dial.
Here.
Miss Kathy Hunt.
Here.
Mr. Johnny Bell.
Here.
Mr. Bobby Emanuel.
Here.
Miss Chuckalana Oxendine here. Miss Josephine Doss. Mr. Alex Baker.
Here.
Mr. Homer Fields.
Here.
Miss Nancy Locklear.
Here.
Miss Mary Locklear.
Here.
Mr. Larry Souls.
Here.
Miss Christy Hunt.
Here.
And Mr. Rudy Locklear.
Here.
You have a quorum, Speaker.
Thank you. At this time, I'll read the ethics statement. In accordance with the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Order number 2010-03-12-01, it is the duty of every council member to avoid both conflicts of interest and the appearance of a conflict of interest with regards to any matters before the council today. Does any council member have a known conflict of interest or any perceived conflict of interest with respect to any matters coming before the council today? If so, please refrain from participating in those particular deliberations during the meeting. At this time, I'd like to take an opportunity to welcome the chairman, John Lowry, tonight, and many of his staff with us. I'd also like to take this moment to recognize two previous council members, Mr. Fernie Lambert and Mr. Larry Townsend, as they are also in attendance. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize two judges, Supreme Court justices with us tonight, Ms. Ronette Sutton and Ms. Emily Dees. At this time, I will take a motion for the review and approval of the agenda. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Properly moved and second. All those in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Mr. Rudy.
I'd like to make a motion to add an item to the agenda, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, as for parliamentary procedures, to add something after the agenda is approved, it'll take 2/3 vote, just to remind everyone.
Duly noted. So far, I haven't heard a second. All right, I have a second and a motion properly second. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
What does he want
So I would like to add the CLLR 2025-03-2001. All of you should have a copy of it. It's a resolution reopening of tribal enrollment rolls. Would you like me to read the resolution?
No, not at this time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Harold?
Like to offer a substitute motion to refer reopening of the tribal rolls back to the C&O committee for future discussion.
All right, I have a substitute motion. I have to take the substitute motion first. Roll call on the substitute motion. This motion sends this action item back to the Constitution and Ordinance Committee. Sends the ordinance to the Constitution and Ordinance. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Resolution, it's not an ordinance, and it has not come from committee.
That understood. Yes.
Mr. Representative Smith, you might make a small adjustment to your amendment?
It's been second.
Okay.
All right. Roll call. Again, this one is to send the resolution to committee.
Billy Oxendine,
Yes.
Graylin Mitchell,
Yes.
Gerald Goolsby,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Larry Chavis,
Yes.
Yvonne Dial,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Johnny Bill,
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel,
Yes.
Chuckwana Oxendine, yes. Josephine Doss, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear,
Yes.
Mary Locklear,
Yes.
Larry Souls,
Yes.
Christy Hunt, Rudy Locklear.
No.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. With the motion passing, that resolves the original. Is that correct, Mr. Parliamentarian?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move to the review and approval of the February Tribal Council minutes and action.
Mr. Speaker, I make a motion to approve February minutes and actions.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary? All those in favor of approval of the February minutes say aye. Aye. Any of those that oppose? Thank you. At this time, I would like to recognize our tribal chairman, Mr. John Lowry, who has a special presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys for allowing me to stand before you and to present. We do have a couple of different recognitions tonight, and I do appreciate the speaker asking me to do this. We're going to take them one at a time. Straight behind me. That's a good place for a Marine to be, having my back. Absolutely. Mr. Speaker, we'd like to take a moment to recognize Mr. Fernie Lambert. Mr. Fernie Lambert is a retired Master Gunnery Sergeant with 28 years in the United States Marine Corps. Mr. Fernie is a former council member. I had the pleasure of serving with Mr. Fernie during my first term on the council. Mr. Fernie also served on the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs, where he was appointed chairman as the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs. Mr. Fernie helped start the Lumbee Warriors Association, and he was also instrumental in the development of the Lumbee Tribes Veteran Service Office. There are three individuals outside of Chairman Jimmy Goins who carry that special title of helping to stand up their office. Mr. Harold Hunt, who has passed away, Mr. Larry Townsend, who's here with us this evening, and also Mr. Fernie Lambert. And we had the opportunity to recognize Mr. Harold at his funeral, and we were able to, unfortunately, at his funeral, I wish we would have done that part earlier. And we were also able to recognize Larry Townsend back in 2023. And so we wanted to take this time to recognize and to honor and to show our appreciation to retired Master Gunnery Sergeant, Mr. Fernie Lambert. So Mr. Fernie Lambert, if you will come up at this time and let us recognize you. Mr. Fernie, on behalf of the Lumbee Nation, on behalf of our people, we are very grateful and thankful to you for your service. You not only serve the people, you serve the nation. You've done it as a member of the United States Armed Forces. You're willing to sacrifice your life. You're willing to give your life for us. And you came home, you still continue to serve our people. So I say with all of us, thank you for all of this people. You know, this is the highest offer right to you as a people. I just want to say sincerely, all of us, all 60,000 plus, thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for your service. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to call you brothers in arms. You guys want to come up and take a picture with Mr. Fernie? I mean, you probably doesn't want a picture with you guys, but.
Yeah. He'll make us look better.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Come on.
Mr. Fernie would like to call you up and allow you some time to speak. Mike's yours.
I certainly wasn't expecting this tonight. It's just great to stand here and accept this award from the chairman. And I don't have a lot to say, but as far as my military service was concerned, I wish I could do it again. I probably would have stayed 30 years, but it was time for me to transfer, and they were looking at California. No, no, no. But I would like to thank all of you for this award, and it's just great to receive something like this. And I don't have much to say. Again, I thank every one of you wholeheartedly for this award. And I'm going to go home and cherish it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you once again, Mr. Fernie, for being here tonight. At this time, we want to take an opportunity here to recognize my cousin, Larry Townsend. Last year, at the Indian Unity Conference, Larry was given the Unsung Hero Award. At that time, Larry was sick. He was actually in the hospital at that time. And Larry has had a lot of, it's not a secret, he's had a lot of health issues over the last couple of years. And we've been looking for the right time to provide him with this award. And we wanted to do it a couple of months ago, but we were also trying to line him up with Mr. Fernie. Because we understand how close those two are, and so, but it's all come together here in March, a year later, and Larry, I've said a lot about you that I can say in public, and there's stuff that I can't say in public about you. But Larry and I are cousins. We do come off of the Henry Berry Lowry line, great grandmama Polly. And he's told me a lot of stories about my great grandfather, Danny Leach Lowry, and Larry is to me, he's a trailblazer. He could be a lightning rod. We all know that. One thing Larry Townsend has never done is hold his tongue. Ain't that right, cousin? So, but Larry has he's worked hard. He's you don't go to a conference on a national level without somebody mentioning Larry Townsend. And he didn't, he don't know these people because he was sitting in the corner or because he was sitting in his hotel room. He did it because he was on the floor working, getting to know people, networking, building rapport. And I'm gonna tell you this story about Larry, and then we're gonna bring him on up here. But around 2015, maybe 2013, there was the annual conference vote at National Congress of American Indians. So every 2 years, every odd number of years, they vote for president, vice president, secretary, and all that. And there was a member from the Eastern Band of Cherokee. She was running for, I think, treasurer. And Larry found out about it. And Larry said, he says, I know I got the Southeast, meaning our caucus. And he got to work. He went to New Mexico caucus. He went up to the Alaska caucus. And he worked and he worked and he found, I think, an Alaska Native to run against her. And he pulled this coalition together, him and a few others. And when the vote came, that member of the Eastern Band of Cherokee was soundly defeated at National Congress of American Indians. And I tell people that story a lot because that goes to show you that, Larry had made those inroads. He had made those connections. He'd done what he had to do to build a rapport with individuals. He had built a good, strong rapport. And so when Larry went knocking, when Larry went asking, when Larry said, hey, there's somebody coming that we don't need. There's somebody coming who doesn't need to be at a position. There's coming somebody who's going to be a divider instead of a uniter. And he said, we got to find somebody. And so Larry was able to rally the troops. And because of that, we won that day. He's also stood in the gap for us, to vote against, just to stand against some of our enemies when they've stood up. So, but like I said, I'm just thankful for him. He's held many titles. He's served many boards. He was a big labor advocate back in the day. He ran for the state house back in the day. He currently serves on the board of elections here in the county. The man's sick, just dealing with a lot, and still he's serving. So with that being said, I'd like to call Larry Townsend up and let's officially recognize him as an unsung hero. And Larry, before we take the pictures, I'm just going to go ahead and let you say a few words. And I decided to bring the mic to you.
I'm going to say a very, very few words. On behalf of my bride, who has allowed me the opportunity to extend the leash, to do the things I've done for the last 30 years, on behalf of this tribe and our people, and not just our people here in the territory, but outside and across the country. I have done what I could do to further our plight across this nation by serving as the Vice President of the National Congress of American Indians. We have built a lot of good bridges and done a lot of good things. And I just wish I could have been in New Orleans year before last when I promised John I would go, but I couldn't go. I was in the hospital. But I got on the phone and I called friends around the country and I explained to them the need and where we were and where we are. And several of them said, I will be in New Orleans, and they went. And y'all know the results. My health has gone downhill in the last 4.5 to 5 years. I spent an inordinate amount of time in the hospital. But I like to look back and think about the days I sat here on this council for 3 terms. I was instrumental somewhat in putting us on the right path and maintaining that and working with others to do that. We made a lot of good progress. I was telling Brother David a few minutes ago, we've come a heck of a long way, but we have a long way to go. But we have to be together. We have to tell our story over and over and over. And I want to take a moment of personal privilege. If it wasn't for veterans, we'd have no freedoms. Period. No matter your religion, sex, creed, beliefs, if you're from Magnolia or Prospect or Fairgrove or Cumberland County or Hoke County or wherever, we're all in this boat together. And I'll tell you, to quote, I'm a war veteran. Vietnam, 1969. I'm not a loser, and I'm not a sucker. And this applies to all veterans in this country, past, present, and future. Remember who we are. On behalf, I told John, Cousin John, I don't tell him anything I share with him. Y'all know him. I told him, I shared with him whenever I was appointed chair of the Robeson County Board of Elections. I thought about it long and hard. I knew there would be trying times. And to be honest with you, I've been there 6 years. I've been challenged by our people, by the whites and by the blacks. But I've done what is right. We have never, since I've been on the board, had a decision overturned by the state board. With all that said, I want to thank y'all and thank the opportunity. And remember, we're responsible, we like to say, for the next 7 generations. But if we don't take care of the next generation, the 3rd and 4th through 7 is not going to matter. We've got to put our petty differences aside and stay focused on the goal. I can go on, or I can finish about daylight, but I'll stop right here. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
And now, I want to take a moment to recognize someone else that is a veteran as well. And I did not know that until today, that this individual is a veteran. Mr. Gene Locklear is here with us today. And Gene is my cousin from the other side of the family. Okay? We come off of that Angus Locklear line in Mount Airy. So, and he's got that Shelby blood, and I got that Braxton blood, but we all got that Angus blood. Gene, and I told him this the other day, he's a lot of people's hero. When Ricky found out Gene was coming to the office the other day, he said, "That's my hero." He said, "I looked up to Gene, you know. He was in the backyard playing baseball, and he wanted to be like Gene Locklear." And when I seen Gene the other day, I told him, I said, my granddaddy, who was his cousin, he was older than Gene, but man, he bragged on Gene all the time. All the time. He talked about, "Oh, your cousin Gene lives out in California. Used to play ball. Your cousin Gene, your cousin Gene." And you know, I don't think at times people realize just how much others think about them, you know, and how they're seen, you know. And but we all have probably heard about Gene's accomplishments, but Gene did play in the major leagues. He played with the Padres, the Yankees, the Reds. And when you think about the 70s and you think about the Big Red Machine, you think about the Yankee dynasty, I mean, Gene was right there in the mix of all that. And he also played overseas in Japan as well. So he went over there and hit some home runs. And, you know, as Gene has grown older and got past the baseball, he's become a world-class artist. And he was telling us how he's had numerous paintings in the White House, the Pentagon. He painted for numerous Super Bowls. And what came out of my discussions that I've been able to have with him in the last couple of days was when he was growing up, he had two dreams: to be a painter and to be a baseball player. That was his dreams. And he made it. He did it. I mean, he accomplished it, you know? And there's much more that can be said about Gene. Of course, we all have paintings of his. If you don't, you're not a Lumbee. But you gotta have a Lumbee, you gotta have a Gene painting in your house. Print. Who said print? Gerald, you can afford an original. So anyway, so at this time, we would like to call up Mr. Gene Locklear to recognize him and to honor him and to let him know how much we as the Lumbee people, as his tribal, the government of the people, adore him, recognize him, and see him as the hero that he is. So Mr. Gene, will you please come forward? Cousin Gene, on behalf of the Lumbee people, I'd like to proudly present you this Eagle Feather. Once again, you know, this is the highest honor bestowed on the tribe of America. We want to thank you for your service in the United States Army. We want to thank you for being a leader for one of our people. And I also want to thank you for giving our people the ability to see their dreams come true. Mr. Gene, you are truly God has blessed you with this talent. He's not making you better places. Thank you.
Let me say it's an honor to be here. There's some of you I've never talked to. There's some of you I've never met. But I want you to know something. When I travel all over this world, and I travel all over the world, I'm a Lumbee Indian. And everybody that knows me away from here call me Chief. Now that doesn't mean that I deserve that honor, but they all know me as an Indian. And I may not look like the Indian with the long hair and the feather in his hair, the moccasins, but my heart is all Lumbee Indian. Now, I was here for the last 3 or 4 days, and I did some things that I'd like to have done even 20 years ago. And that is visit with the kids that we have. Because you see, I believe there's another Gene Locklear out there. There's another Major League ball player out there, and there's another artist that can even do more than I've done. But you see, his dreams has to start someplace. There has to be some place for the beginning to end up having an end. And what I want to cherish with you today, you have to find him. You have to find her and give them all the courage that you can to be what the Creator intended them to be. I have a book coming out of my life. The title of that book is God Has a Sense of Humor. Now, what I mean by that is, where I came from in Union Chapel in Mount Airy, if you would have asked someone 76 years ago what Gene Locklear was going to become, they'd say, oh, he'll end up a farmer, picking cucumbers and pulling corn, cropping tobacco. That's what my dad thought. I remember one day my dad said, boy, you're not going to play baseball anymore. So I flew out of the house crying and kicking in dirt. But it wasn't more than 5 minutes, my mom hollered out that door, Gene, you can play all the baseball you want. Now, my mom had something I hope all of you have. She had a vision. And my mom was a believer, and the one that I hope and pray all of us are, the man up above. The man that you'll think is not watching and listening and creating those that's going to represent him here on this earth. It's not just white people. It's just not blacks, China, Russians. It's also Lumbee Indians. So I say to you, don't disregard our young people. Because I said today to all the ones that I met, 300 or more, I'm only looking for one. That's all I'm looking for to take my place. That's all I need. I'm not talking about 20, 30, or 40. Because you see, the experiences that I have had and going to have is to represent the Lumbee Indians. Now, when I came up here tonight, I had no speech because that's how I am. I talk from my heart, my soul, my body. So what I'm saying to you is, those that's here listening, please search, look for the next tribal leader. Maybe 6 years old, 12 years old, 25. and start training him at a young age. You know, in baseball, you cannot make the major leagues unless you start at a young age. There's nobody I know that walks on a major league diamond that they pick up off the street and make him a major league ball player. He starts at a very, very young age. And as an artist also, when my mom didn't have crayons and pencils and paper to buy me, she would go to the grocery store when they had the advertisement on one side and the plain paper on the other. That's what I used to sketch on. She used to go to the warehouses where they sold tobacco, where they had pencils. Those are the pencils I used. Now, I can buy anything I want to work with. And let me say, I have paintings in places that you would swear he's not telling the truth. He can't have that, because he's a Lumbee Indian from Pembroke, North Carolina. How in the world would anybody, and why would they buy one of his paintings? He's a Lumbee Indian. Because I know when I grew up, that's what a lot of people would say. But I hope and pray today, all of you that are here realize a Lumbee Indian can be anything he wants. In fact, the Lumbee Indian can be more than most. As long as we remember our heritage, who we are, where we came from, and what our forefathers has done, and the Creator above, you can accomplish just about anything you want. Thank you very much.
Gene will be at the powwow on Saturday, and he also has an exhibit at the UNCP currently. So he's the artist in residence this week. So if you want to go out and want to see his paintings and stuff, he is at the museum. And by the way, Mr. Speaker, I was kind of serious about that. If you don't have a Gene Locklear print, you might not be a Lumbee. So just think. Oh, Bill, come on, man. You've already retired 3 times.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do appreciate him being present. I feel that it's important that we not only honor our special guest tonight, but that we honor all veterans at all times. So thank you. At this time, I would like to recognize the Constitution and Ordinance Chairman, Mr. Bobby Emanuel, for a special recognition as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We just recently confirmed our two newest justices to the Supreme Court. They were confirmed last month at the business meeting, but they were unable to attend because of prior engagement. But they're both here tonight. So if I could have Ms. Ronette Sutton and Miss Emily Dees come up, please. I'd like to thank these two ladies for volunteering to do this. They've already served on one case, and we're looking forward for them doing great things. And we're going to take some pictures too. Mr. Chair, you want to go on down there? If the representatives for these folks, can they come down also? I don't know. Miss Kathy, yeah, of course, Miss Kathy's on there. Yes, she's. Oh, used to be yours. Okay.
Well, they represent us all.
Yes. But I'd like to thank you for your willingness to serve, and I appreciate you want to help and serve our Lumbee people.
That's the only thing that'll help your image.
Nice.
Thank you, Mr. Bobby. At this time, it's my privilege to call back the chairman, Mr. John Lowry, for the chairman's report.
Mr. Speaker, I'm gonna do my best to keep this short because I've already stood in front of you guys enough. So, once again, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak before you. Just a couple of highlights of some things that are coming. As you all have were told before, or I know that was presented in committee, we have been gifted about 1,300 acres of land in Mr. Homer's district over near Bladen County. It's a conservation and wetlands area. Open Spaces Institute has gifted us this land. And so we will have a ceremony on April 1st at 3:30. And we definitely want to invite everybody out. I do not know the address and stuff, but we would definitely get that out to you guys. But, you know, anytime that somebody gets us land, anytime us natives get land back, we're very thankful for that. So we appreciate them giving it back to us. So anyway, but this is a great opportunity for us, and you know, we're going to check it out and look at it and see what all is available, and maybe there's opportunities for whatever. But it is a conservation wetland area, so we'll definitely see it and bring it back to you guys and have some discussion there. Also, as you guys know, we have purchased 30 acres of land in the Scotland County area where we're going to build a new Boys and Girls Club. And so we're currently working with the two members from the Scotland County area on a date to do the groundbreaking over there, or whatever we want to call it. So, but we're happy to have that land. We've been promising those guys to build them a full-fledged Boys and Girls Club. And because the one they currently have is not a full-fledged one. So also we have you guys know we did the walking trail over at Prospect over at Two Streams last year. We completed that, and we also were able to work with the local community members there to get some playground equipment. So we're going to do a ribbon cutting on that very soon as well. And also on the maintenance and agriculture building at the Culture Center, we're going to do a ribbon cutting on that as well. I went out there 2 weeks ago, checked out the building. It's a very, very nice facility that those guys are working on. So you guys are going to be very happy with that. We'll be able to store our equipment in there. And then we're going to also have an area there for agriculture and to do cleaning and stuff of different food products. So we're very happy with the maintenance building there. Also, I did get some pictures today. They have poured the concrete on what we are unofficially calling the Chairman's Box at the Culture Center at the amphitheater. So we're happy to see that starting to come up, and we do hope to have that completed by June the 1st there. So just very, very happy with all. I mean, we got a whole lot going on, and of course we continue to have a lot going on. I drove over to Renard recently, and they've cleared the dirt there on the senior elder sites there that we're going to build. So we just keep on keeping on. I think we're about completed with another 6 homes down in Roland area. So Mr. Dollar Bill should be, man, if anybody should be happy, it should be Mr. Dollar Bill. I mean, he's getting like 23, 26 homes over there, a brand new building. I'm telling you, I'm envying you, Dollar Bill. I'm envying you, brother. You the man. You the man. Yeah, thank you. And so anyway, so we're just happy with all that's going on. I will give you an update on the full federal recognition. I did have a conversation with the Department of Interior on Thursday. We did a call via telephone, and we will be going up there next week. So Department of Interior is working on their draft report that they're going to send to the president. They have an April 23rd deadline, but the lady did tell me that they hope to have it completed by the end of next week and to the Secretary of Interior's desk for him to sign off and to send on over to the White House. So they're getting this done ahead of the April 23rd deadline. So once again, we've had good consultation sessions with them. They know exactly where we stand on this issue, and I don't need to rehash it for certain individuals to watch on TV. But we do know that the report will be coming out soon. It will be public, and we feel like it will be just. It will be fair, and we understand, as I've stressed to them multiple times, that only Congress can overturn what Congress did in 1956. So only Congress can act. There's no bureaucratic process. There's no presidential executive authority that can cause Congress to have their law overturned. So only Congress can act and overturn what they've done. So we will continue to push that. So I did have the opportunity to go to the RES conference last week in Las Vegas, the Reservation Economic Summit. I'd never been before. I think there was like 4,500 people there. It was a great opportunity. Had a lot of just different meetings, different conversations with individuals and potential business for our people and for our tribe. I will say this: there was a ton of Lumbees there. I mean, just from all walks of life who are doing business in different areas, different realms, and they were in Vegas. So it was very, very nice just to meet them, just to have conversations with them. And I was also surprised about the people who come up to me and say, "Hey, man, I'm married to a Lumbee," or "Hey, I have a child who's Lumbee," or I got a cousin who used to. I'm just like, man, we are all over the place, and once again, we're just fortunate, we're blessed. Mr. Gene said it right, and Larry and others, Mr. Fernie, like we have progressed so much as a people, and we still do have a lot more to do. But I'm gonna tell you something: the entrepreneurial spirit runs strong among our people. We are business-minded people, and I did have a chance to talk with Mr. Johnny Helms. I don't know if any of you guys know Mr. Johnny Helms, but he's from the Fairmont area. He now lives down in Jacksonville. He owns numerous businesses, and one of the things that I talked to him about was actually doing a entrepreneurial seminar or class with our teenagers. That like 14, 18 time frame, just to say, hey, if you're interested in business development, if you're interested in being an entrepreneur, let me tell you what I've done. And man, he loved the idea. He said, I'll come home anytime. He said, you give me about 2 months notice. He says, and I will be there. So we're going to work on that for him to be able to speak to our youth about potential business opportunities and how he got into business and the entrepreneurial mindset that he had. And one of the things Mr. Johnny told me, and I think it runs parallel with what Gene said, he said he always loved for people to tell him no. He said, I love for people to tell me no, that I could not do something. He said, because then it just made me want to do it even more. And you know what, that's us. We are resilient people. We love to be told no. We were told we couldn't get the education, so what did we do? We built our own schools, We were told we had to get through the back door, so what did we do? We built our own businesses, And that's just us as people. They told us, Pastor, we couldn't preach in the pulpit, right? We couldn't be preachers. We could take notes in church. So our people said, we're going to start our own churches. So that's our people. We're very resilient. God bless you. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, we'll move into our committee reports. Our first committee report tonight comes from the Constitution and Ordinance, Mr. Bobby Emanuel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. TCRR 2011-1215-01. I'm going to start at the third whereas. In accordance with Article 7 of Section 1B of the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe, the Tribal Council shall adopt rules and regulations governing the council procedures and decorum. And whereas the rules of the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina shall repeal and supersede CLLO 2005-003 as originally adopted and subsequently amended, and therefore be it adopted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following rules and regulations shall be cited as standing rules and orders and regulations governing the duties of the Tribal Council officers and the quorum of the council meetings. Yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Coming from committee and needs no second, I'll open the floor to debate. Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call. Madam Secretary?
Billy Oxendine. Graylin Mitchell. Joel Goolsby. Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Harold Smith.
Yes.
Jody Bullard.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Yvonne Dial.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Johnny Bill.
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel.
Yes.
Chuckawanna Oxendine, yes. Josephine Doss. Alex Baker.
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear.
Yes.
Mary Locklear.
Yes.
Larry Souls.
Yes.
Christy Hunt.
Yes.
Rudy Locklear.
Yep.
Motion carried, Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move to finance. We'll turn to our treasurer and finance chair, Ms. Pam Hunt.
Good evening. Our first ordinance for tonight is CLLO 2024-082901, fiscal year October 1, 2024 through September 30, 25, Lumbee Tribal Budget Ordinance. I will start reading at the fifth whereas. Whereas the Tribal Council has the authority and fiduciary responsibility to ensure compliance with program funding and allocations. And whereas the amended budget, governmental operations of the tribal operating budget with a carryover amount of $421,149 from the 2023-24 fiscal year has been reallocated, and therefore it be enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina the following amended ordinance cited as fiscal year October 1, 2024 through September 2025 Lumbee Tribal Budget Ordinance, subject to all inclusions and provisions. Basically, we had monies left from last year's budget, so we've rolled them over to this year for allocations. Out of the $421,149, $31,180 is allocated to our contingency line item. An additional $100,000 for services to consumers, $30,000 to legal, $74,888 for scholarships, $65,081 for travel and professional development, $90,000 for federal recognition, and $30,000 for economic development. This also comes with some general provisions. General Ledger Code 8039, governmental operations within government operations funds will remain frozen until Lumbee Tribal Election Board presents revised budgets to the Tribal Council for consideration, and said budget shall be limited to 4 months. Scholarships with government operations funds will be divided according to the following allocation: $30,000 in accordance with donor restrictions, $40,000 to the Education, Cultural, and PR Committee for distribution, and $5,000 to the Agricultural and Natural Resource Committee for distribution. General Ledger Code 7000, travel, professional development within government operations funds will be dispersed in accordance with CLLO 2008-052201, amended April 18th, 2024. Government Operations has a designation of $20,000 to the Lumbee Tribe Elections Board for the remainder of the current fiscal year. Upon expense, the Lumbee Tribe Election Board will provide the required documentation to the Finance Office of the Lumbee Tribe. The operating year for the Lumbee Tribe Election Board will be July 1 to February 1. This budget and all provisions included herein shall be strictly adhered to. Should the executor of this document refuse to implement any portion herein, it shall be considered to be a violation of tribal, state, and federal law. In the event that any phrase, provision, part, paragraph, subsection, or section of this ordinance found by the court of competent jurisdiction to violate the Constitution, laws, or ordinances of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, such phrase, paragraph, subsection, or section shall be considered to stand alone and to be deleted from this ordinance, the entirety of the balance of the ordinance to remain in full and binding force and effect. That's a mouthful.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Coming from committee, it needs no second. I open the floor for debate. Mr. Bill?
With the enrollment closed for scholarships, would this affect the amount of money we're looking at spending? Or we gonna spend all that money this year or just a portion of it?
Mr. Bill, that is dependent on the quality of applications that we get, and we'll look for our committee to make that recommendation based on those quality. But we are going to do our responsibility and allocate the money regardless.
So my question again is, are we gonna spend the whole amount? Cause 2 years ago we spent the whole amount and got in trouble.
Mr. Bill, again, a lot of that is dependent on the quality of applications you get. And until that period opens and those applications come in, nobody here can tell you whether we'll expend it all or not. I said what I said.
Also, I'd like to respond to that. The closing of the rolls has nothing to do with scholarships per se, because if a person, for educational purposes, needs some Lumbee tribal services, they can come in and get a certificate of blood until such time the rolls open.
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call.
Just because I work at the university and I've had some students come in just this week, they were told when they come here, they were told no, they could not get that.
Mr. Speaker, can we have administration come to this podium, please?
That's what I did know.
Mr. Speaker, we are not discussing whether they qualify or not. We're discussing the budgetary aspects. I suggest that any discussion as it relates to the scholarships and qualifications and the method of getting them to refer back to the educational committee, and we go ahead and vote on the budget ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Having agreed, I will ask for a roll call.
Billy Oxendine.
No.
Grayla Mitchell.
Yes.
Gerald Goolsby.
Yes.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Harold Smith.
Yes.
Jody Bullard.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Yvonne Dial.
Yes.
Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Johnny Bill.
Yes.
Bobby Manuel.
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine, yes. Josephine Doss. Alex Baker.
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear.
Yes.
Mary Locklear.
Yes.
Larry Souls.
Yes.
Christy Hunt. Rudy Locklear.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is the Lumbee Tribe Harm Reduction Budget, CLLO 2025-0320-02. This did not come from committee. I'm asking if Ms. Celeste and Ms. Cherry Beasley are here to help us with this, please. This is money that was given, and time is of the essence. It's the only reason it's coming before us tonight. Ms. Beasley, Ms. Hunt?
Thank you. In middle of the first week in January, we reached out to the state of North Carolina to ask why we couldn't get some of the harm reduction money for opioid crisis. We were told that we could apply, and we were assured that if we applied, we would get some of the funding. So we submitted our application with a 3-day notice that they gave us and submitted it to them on January the 10th. We kept waiting every day to see if we were going to hear from it. I will tell you that yesterday afternoon, we got an email saying that we had received our funds. They had sent it to Trillium last week, and that we now have to go through Trillium to get our funds released. When we first applied, we were told we were applying for 12 months of funding. We now, when our monies came, or our notice came yesterday afternoon, they have changed it to from now until September the 30th, and it's $245,000. So of the $245,000, what we have proposed and what we, if you approve me tonight, then we can begin conversations with Trillium. The issue is that we now have to have it spent or fully allocated by October the 1st. We have recommending that a good bit of the money go into salaries. Of the $245,000, we're looking at $105,000 in salaries, which will be a program coordinator, so we can design an opioid plan and program for our tribe. We can hire 2 community health workers, and then we have a part-time contract administrative assistant. We are asking for indirect costs of $36,750 at 15% rate. We are going to allocate, and according to our award letter, services $61,615 specifically for services, and that doesn't include what the community health workers will be doing, going out and educating and doing management of people and trying to figure out how do we help people get into services and treatment. That will be the whole job of the community health worker. Then the other monies that we are going to do is supply and equipment. A lot of that will be, again, things that our tribal members need who are in substance and opioid treatment, some of the things that they need to progress on, including maybe some providing some energy funds, because I'm talking to our energy department. We have people who come, grandmothers particularly, who are raising children or grandchildren whose children are in substance abuse or in treatment, and they need help with energy, and so that would help supply some of those fundings. Excuse me? Okay, right. The other thing is that we're looking at with this monies is for housing. We do not have any transitional housing right now in our community for people when they get out of substance treatment, but to be able to pay the rent in some of our, either if we don't have it in tribal housing, to be able to pay an apartment or 2 apartments for rent for up to 90 days. And then we're looking at $16,000 for meetings, and that will include a meeting for youth, around, much like what we did with the GONA, specifically to focus on their needs and how they can heal and be prevented in substance abuse and misuse. And that's in accordance with the award letter that lets us then be able to, we have to have a youth prevention program. And then the occupation costs, that is just purely for paying part of the current building that we're in, rent. We are paying a good amount of rent every year. And then we also have to have local travel monies for the people, the community health workers, but then also we will have to attend 2 state meetings.
Ms. Dr. Beasley, these personnel, are all of them going to be contract labor?
No, because we are with the OVW, the Department of Justice grant, we were also given funding for community health workers. In talking to Trillium and to the state, they have already asked us to submit a 2-year funding, a 2nd-year funding, and we were able to double the amount we've requested.
Okay.
So we will hire those people with the understanding that it is soft money, and this gives us opportunity to train them as well.
I'm sorry. The only reason I'm asking is because unless you've got that included in the cost of your personnel. I don't see a line item for the fringe benefits.
Ms. Sharon combined it.
It's all combined. So that person would be paid $38,775 minus.
Minus.
Okay.
Plus the benefits.
That would include the benefits.
Okay, because if it doesn't include benefits, then this would be wrong.
It does not.
Okay.
We also have to train at least 3 to 4 people as peer support specialists, which we, and we can actually choose current tribal employees and train them as peer support specialists if they're in frontline obligations in this fund. That's also part of the monies that are in supplies and equipment to be able to pay for that certification training.
Thank you. Coming from committee, I do need a second. I open the floor now for discussion. Seeing and hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote.
Billy Oxendine. Yes. Rayla Mitchell.
Yes.
Joe Goolsby.
Yes.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
Harold Smith.
Yes.
Jody Bullard.
Yes.
Carrington Locklear.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Yvonne Dial. Yes. Kathy Hunt.
Yes.
Johnny Bill.
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel.
Yes.
Chuckawanna Oxendine, yes. Josephine Doss. Alex Baker.
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear. Yes. Mary Locklear.
Yes.
Larry Souls.
Yes.
Christy Hunt. Yes. Rudy Locklear.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. At this time, I'll yield back to our treasurer, Ms. Pam Hunt.
So is Dr. Townsend still in the building? Well, okay. So the reason this did not come out of committee is that this money's, again, we get money from the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, but when you don't know the day or hour you're gonna get it, and time is of the essence, it has to be approved and spent. And if you would just quickly tell us, Dr. Townsend, and what this is to be used for, and after that, I would like for someone to offer a motion for this to be voted on as a blanket, because it's the same thing for all 7.
This is a grant that's coming from the Office of Juvenile Justice, but it's being passed to the Boys and Girls Club. And the reason it's coming so late is that they were not sure they were going to be able to get the funds with the cuts that's going on, but they did get it. We got notified by letter that we had it, and then it has to have a quick response. So for your next meeting, if it's going to be too late, everything has to be signed, and it has to have the resolution that you accepted the money. The mentoring program is set up, and we have one for each of the 7 clubs. It's set up to pay the salary of one person, half of the salary, for them to work with at least 20 students on an individual basis. This comes through one-on-one, comes through small group, and it can come through large groups. There's quite a bit of paperwork that goes with it. Each week there has to be a sheet telling the contact that was made with each individual kid that's in it, and it has to be 20. And it has to tell you what activities you did with that child. Now, activities can have a whole range of things. It can start out with the kid that's struggling in school. So we do homework assistance with that kid. We don't claim to be tutors because our folks do not have those skills. It can be a child that's going through a crisis. There may have been a death in the family. There may have been something that, an illness that happened with that child that caused them to have excessive absences in school. It may be an illness just going on with a parent and or siblings, just someone in the family. Those are the things that they are able to talk to with the member one-on-one. And then, as I said, there's skills that they are able to work with them in groups. But they have to maintain at least 20 kids throughout the duration of the grant. and there has to be reporting. There's a quarterly report that's done every quarter, and this is an audited grant. So if they decide they want to come in and check that paperwork, you have to be able to produce to them that you've kept a weekly log on the activity that's done with the child. So time is set aside inside the grant that pays for them to also do the paperwork. But each child has to get at least 5 hours of help from this person a week. And as I said, it can be in different forms, but it's tailored to that individual child.
Thank you, Ms. Rose.
Mr. Larry?
Somebody's lights on.
I have a motion and a second. I'll open the floor for discussion.
I got a question from Miss Rhodes.
Go ahead and ask the question, Mr. Bishop.
Miss Rhodes, at the 7 Boy and Girl clubs, do we pick up students at the schools and bring them to the club at all?
We do.
At all 7 locations?
All 7 locations.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other discussion or comments?
I'd like to make a friendly amendment to Larry's motion to combine them together and approve them.
And approved together. It's been accepted and properly seconded. At this time, I'd call for a roll call.
Billy Oxendine,
Yes.
Graylin Mitchell,
Yes.
Gerald Goolsby,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Larry Chavis,
Yes.
Yvonne Dial,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Johnny Bell,
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel,
Yes.
Chuckalana Oxendine, yes. Josephine Doss, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear,
Yes.
Mary Locklear,
Yes.
Larry Souls,
Yes.
Christy Hunt, Rudy Locklear.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Is that all for me? At this time, we'll move to community comments. I have no community comments. Is that still correct, Madam? Thank you. Madam Clerk. Next, we'll move to the calendar review. At this time, I'll recognize anything for March. The chair has asked that I remind you that Education, Culture, and PR has a meeting Monday night at 6:30. It does expect to take the 2 hours that is scheduled for that meeting. So there's your courtesy reminder. Anything else for March at this point? All right. I've been asked to remind you about housing as well from Miss Nancy, the chair. On Thursday, it as well is a 2-hour meeting. Thank you, Madam Chair. At this point, we'll move to April, and I have Miss Pam, Mr. Jody, and Mr. Bobby. Miss Pam?
I'd like to have a finance meeting April 1st, at 6:30.
Mr. Jody?
Health meeting at 6:30 on the 8th.
I'm gonna have to pause yours because he was next, and then I'll come back and get you. Brother Bobby?
Yes, on the 3rd at 6:30, April 30 at 6:30, CNO.
All right. Then we have Carrington's Ag at 7:30 on the 8th. Is that correct, Mr. Carrington? All right. Chakawana?
Can we do education at 7:30 on the 3rd after CNO?
7:30, education.
Is that right, after?
Yes. On the 3rd? Oh, on the 3rd.
On the 3rd.
All right, Mr. Gerald?
Yes, Mr. Alex, LTH, I'm waiting on them to send me the report, so I need to tentatively schedule that report for the fourth quarter, and then right after that, we're going to do the first quarter. So I'd like to try to set that up for the 7th tentatively, understanding it may change. So, could I do that? And it'll, you know, how long those meetings are?
6:30?
Yes, sir. So it is, roughly 2-hour meeting also.
Certainly. The 7th.
And I'll text everybody.
Duly noted. That is a tentative meeting on the 7th for LTH report. Again, that would be a 2-hour block, but you will receive confirmation following the meeting. Any other committees that need to be scheduled? Hearing and seeing none, at this time, I'll entertain a motion after the benediction to adjourn.
So move.
Brother Harold, will you dismiss us in prayer?
Yes.
Thank you for all the many that was here tonight that showed the willingness to serve you and what they've done for the nation and for the people. We thank you for them. Thank you for the lives that they've lived, and pray for Heavenly Father, you ever keep us safe in your loving hands. We thank you for our administration, for our tribal council. Pray for Heavenly Father, you continue to lead us, guide us, direct us, that we will ever do what's pleasing unto you, and please unto our people. We pray for many hearts and heavy hearts of burden. Those in the hospitals and rest homes, in a mighty way. Those that are facing the death of a loved one, pray you strike them all around them. We thank you, we love you. Pray you keep us safe as we go our separate ways. Lord, we thank you